Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We are very excited to have the team from Anveo here to present to us this morning. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into that question box. I will get them called out and answered for you. The other part is we do record this webinar as well as all of our other webinars, so you can find it on our website, which is innovia.com. That'll be up by the end of today. So without further ado, guys, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Abby. My name is Mark Borkowski. I'm the sales rep for the Anveo US Team. The Anveo product home office is in Germany, and we do represent them here in the US and support also. Today, we're going to spend some time on our mobile app and our web portal, give you some insights of how this thing functions. And I'm very happy to have with me with this is our Managing Director, Perry Warren. And then when we get into the demo part of it, Keith Warren will spend time going through how this is easily set up and functions for you. So guys, Perry, take her away.
Good morning, everybody. Perry Warren here, Managing Director for Anveo USA. I think that's an important little statement because we are in the USA, we're local, so we support our fantastic partners in Anveo and Anveo implementations. And today, Keith's going to review the mobile app with you. And some things I'd like you to take special note on is the ease of which we can move around the app, we can set things up, and everything that he's doing will be done from an end-user perspective. That is, you don't see him jumping into a development environment. So it's very typical for us to have end users in their office logging into NAV, updating the mobile devices very easily, very quickly, without a ton of technical support. So you're not here to listen to me. I'll pass the time to Keith, and thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you, Perry, and welcome to everybody. Thank you for attending the meeting. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate for you our mobile app and our web portal. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to give you a little bit of a feel. I have a NAV 2015 running on a remote server that I have installed the Anveo client suite on. This client suite has both the mobile app and the web portal. For the purposes of speed, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to display the screen from my phone. So in here, I have my phone being displayed, and it's sitting here right next to me, and I have the mobile app. And what I have up here is I have the Anveo mobile app. So I am going to go ahead and log into the Anveo mobile app. I'm doing a login. While I'm doing that, basically what you can see is it comes up, and I've logged in as a salesperson. In NAV itself, we have what's called the Anveo client suite. So in here, I can either type in Anveo, or if you go over to your departments, over here, we have the Anveo client suite. The nice thing about Anveo is that we have our own object range. So when you install Anveo, there's no merging code, there's no bumping into, there's really no work to it at all other than you're importing your objects in and you're setting up your servers. So in the Anveo client suite, we break things down by pages, users, menus. We have synchronization packages which deal with the mobile app and how the mobile app communicates back and forth. We have a mobile app numbering series, table triggers, and I'm going to go through some of the look and feel for how the solution works. But the nice part that you're going to see is I am not in the development environment, as Perry stated earlier. I'm strictly in the role-tailor client. So I'm sitting in my client, and I'm actually doing updates to my solution. So the first thing that I did is when I logged in as a salesperson. And that was the username that you saw there was the salesperson. So if I look at my salesperson is actually going to be logged into the AMA Sales mobile app menu. So if I come back to the client suite and I go to the main menus and you see AMA Sales here, if I edit the AMA Sales app, the list for the menu, what you're going to see is this follows right along with what you see on the phone. So you see my customers, sales activities, my contacts, demo, all that. Now, the awesome part about our solution is that I can simply come in and say, you know what, if I wanted to change this from sales activities to fun activities, right? Because as a salesperson, it's always fun to sell. And I simply refresh my app. What happens is the app will go and communicate with the server. It will download any changes that happened in NAV. It will upload any changes that happened in the solution. And what you see is that my naming convention immediately changes. So in here, as I go through this solution, you're going to see that really I'm not making a whole lot of changes in the solution. I'm not doing any kind of coding. I'm simply going in and picking things from drop-downs and changing the look and the feel of my solution. So in here, when I select my customers, and you see over here on my phone that I click on my customers, what you're going to see is it brings up a list of all my customers. In the app itself, when I drill down into it and I look at my customers, right, oops, excuse me, should have hit advanced. What I am opening up is the Anveo page list. In the Anveo page list, you see this is the list of all the pages that are published in different areas on the solution. So if I edit this page, the really slick part about the solution is what you'll see is I am simply publishing my customer table. So in here, anytime you want to launch an Anveo page, if you wanted to create a mobile app that somebody's going to enter information into, they're actually entering that information into a table that is the customer table. So on the device, when I'm looking at this, this information here represents my customer table. So if I change or add things, they immediately, in sync, they immediately appear in my customer table in NAV. So think about your solution. If you have any unique tables, if you have tables that are specific to your solution, you're simply going to select those tables and publish them. So there's not a lot of development time to launch the application. So what I'm going to do here is just to give you a look and feel of how the solution works is first thing I'm going to do is unpublish the page, and because I remember to unpublish the page, I'm going to give myself kudos because I always forget to unpublish the page, and I'm going to select my fields. When I select my fields, what you're going to see is here's a list of all the fields that are represented in this solution. Okay, so the first thing that shows is the credit limit on the customer, salesperson code, all this information. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a new field in here. So when I drill down, the first thing you're going to see is it brings up a list of all the fields that are available in the customer card. And just for grins, I'm going to go ahead and add the phone number to the solution. And I'm going to move it up one, and I'm going to actually go in and I'm going to edit the line above it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Edit. And when you look at this, this is showing you the field that represents the county or region code. And I'm going to go down through here, and I'm going to add a line break. Oh, already did that. And I don't need to add a caption on this one. So what I've done is I've told the solution that when I put the phone number, don't put the phone number at the end. Give it its own line. And then I'm going to come out here. I'm going to click on the phone number itself. I'm going to edit this. All right. And for fun, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the field font color be red so it stands out nice and bright. I'm actually going to make my font size be 120 so you guys see it nice and large. Right. And I'm going to go in and add a caption. So I want it to say that it's the phone. When I've done all this, I simply come back to the solution. I publish this page. I hit refresh. And it's going to go out and pull the data from the solution. Now the funny part of this is when this first pulls the information, you're going to see that it pops up all the phone numbers. So in here, when I'm looking at this, this is the phone number information for this that has been added, and there's a page break on it. Didn't code anything, went into my table, picked a field, took that field, put it on the table, on the form, changed the color, changed the font, no coding whatsoever. So in here, one of the things that you'll see is we also have the ability to execute triggers on page action, on close page, just like we use in NAV. I also have the ability to do some additional properties when it comes to the solution, because in the solution you have what's called a short press or a long press. So a short press is just basically holding it down. A long press will actually open the menu on this solution. So in here, if I select a client and I long press him, you'll see that it pops open a menu. And that menu here directly corresponds to the menu here. So again, new customer, new quote, right? So all this information is right there. That's basically what I've done, is popped open the information. You'll see history. There's a sub list under history. I click on the sub list under history, and there's my ledger entries powered, right? So it gives me that capability in the solution to go through and dictate how I flow, and not one part of it has been coding. So I'll also show you that with a short press, it tells me that I'm going to be opening my customer card. So if I look at my customer card here, that's the information I'm going to be opening up, and when I click on it, the customer card is strictly just a customer card. It's table 18. So if I come in here and I open my customer card and I scroll down here, you'll notice I don't have a phone number for this person. So I'm going to put in a phone number. Right? When I put in the phone number and I come into NAV itself here and I go to my customers, and let me get back. I go to home. I go to customers here. Okay, the customer I'm working with is, good luck, Icelandic company, pronounce that one. But what you'll see is there's not a phone number there for this client. So, but I have put a phone number into the solution. Well, again, the solution's an offline solution, which means that the data doesn't appear in NAV until I actually sync the data. So if I come in here and I execute a sync, the system's going to go up and it's going to transmit anything that's changed, and it's going to basically update NAV. So if I do a refresh, I now have my phone number in NAV. So it allows me to go through and make changes either in NAV or in the solution. So if I want to change something in the solution, so if I open up this client and I'm going to do an edit on them, I'm going to show you another little feature that we have, and it's the ability to notify your person, even though the solution's offline, I'm not connected. We have the ability for you to go through and send notifications to a salesperson in the field that something has changed. So if I come in here and I go to my credit limit, and I'm going to change my credit limit to $20,000, and I tab out of it, you're going to see that there's a pop-up that comes and says that the credit limit has changed. And we're using SMS to notify the end user that, hey, you know what, the credit limit for this person has changed. And at the same time, you get an email. So if I basically go through and open this up, do a refresh, I'm going to see that notification appear in here. And there's my notification. And when I click on my notification, it opens up that same customer card. So it very easily allows you to go through and notify. Now, keep in mind, I can do that notification process on any field. So think about your business. Services, if you're doing service orders and the customer calls up and says, hey, I've got to leave, I'm not going to be there to let him in, can you cancel the service? Well, you want to be able to notify your driver without him driving there. So that's a good use of a notification. Hey, service canceled. He sees that, he doesn't go to that job. Save yourself fuel and time. So, or you add a job. Those types of features and functions. Imagine being in the field as a salesperson and your cost is increasing on your goods, so the prices are going up. You need your salesperson to know that right away. Another good use of the notification. So in here, the solution basically allows you to go through and really pick and choose. The other nice part about the Anveo solution is we natively use the app. So if I come in here and I do a sort on spot and I say okay, I bring up this customer, I click on this customer, and I go and I say, hey, you know what, I need driving directions to this customer for Google Maps. It will come up and say, do you want to use this application? So again, like any other app that you download, if you want to see something on the map, we pop it up and say, hey, when do you want to see it on the map? I'm going to say just once. And what it's going to do is it's simply going to open up that, figure out my location, and then give me driving directions from point A to point B to get from A to B, and it's going to take me 3 hours and 48 minutes to drive there. So again, that is simply linking a button and saying I want to use the map in the application. So again, no programming, takes advantage of the native applications within there, and if I just simply escape out of the map, I go right back into Anveo where I was. Same thing here. If I want to see lists, if I want to take a picture, I click on it, it's going to open up my camera, and I can simply take a picture, right, and embed it in as the customer. So it gives you a lot of features and functionality that you can use on your phone and apply it to information and then transfer that information to NAV. So that's the mobile app. Are there any questions? Anything that I need to show you? But basically, that's how the solution works in a nutshell.
Keith,
I
have a question. I noticed that you're using an Android app. Is there any difference between, does the solution work with a iOS or an Apple device? And is there any different setups?
Excellent question. So there are no differences in the solution. It will work with both iOS and Android devices. And in the first quarter of next year, we'll work with Windows phones. That's what we're working hard on right now, is to make sure the solution works on a Windows phone. And basically, nothing changes from your standpoint. The system is smart enough that when an Android logs in, it basically automatically puts the code in such a way that you can get it in an Android. And the same thing with iOS. I will also tell you at any time if you want to test the system, simply go to the App Store or go to the Play Store and type in Anveo, and you can download the application. By default, we give you 4 users that the password is demo, and you can log in and move through the app just like I'm doing here. So it gives you that capability. I'm also going to cover 2 other key points that I think are important to the mobile app itself here. I am going to talk a little bit about sync packages. So in our solution, there's a couple of things. One, we do not transfer the whole NAV database to the phone. Okay, what we do is we pass the information that's pertinent to the pages that you publish and the information that your salesperson needs or your end field user needs to complete their job. And we do that through what we call sync packages. And a sync package is basically a way to come in and say, these are the tables that I'm going to pass back and forth between us. Again, these are the fields that I'm going to allow to be passed back and forth between us. So if you look at my customer table and I say select fields, it's a list of fields, that I'm going to select to go through the application and pass back and forth for information. I also set filters where I say if you're a salesperson, you only see the customers, right, that you are assigned to as a salesperson. So if you look at it, I use field 29 in the customer card, which is your salesperson purchaser field. I filtered the list of which customers I actually passed to them. So allowing that to go on, what I do is I basically keep my information secure. At any time I can go into a device and say that device is no longer allowed to communicate, and basically keep it from getting back into the system if it's lost. It allows you to go through and control the device 100% with the end user. The other nice feature on this is your data rates are not going to go through the roof. And I apologize about the pop-up. This is actually my live phone, and I'm getting text messages and email notifications on my phone. So it allows you to, basically the data package only sends changes. So if you look at it, we really haven't changed anything. So if I hit sync, it's basically going to very quickly go, hey, back and forth, nothing changed. I'm not exchanging a lot of data. So it allows you to really kind of control your data profile. And that's the mobile app piece of this. If there are no questions, I'm going to quickly show you the web portal piece of this as well. So are there any further questions? Okay,
so far, so good.
will. Okay, all right. Oh, got a text message. Nice. So I am basically going to open again. And so this one I actually have everything running on my server. And the way the Anveo suite works is that the web portal is a website. that your end users can log into. Oh, goodness gracious. And I'm going to unplug my phone so we don't get that anymore. And it's the same exact solution. When you look at this, I log into a website. I put in a username and password. When I put in that username and password, apologize about this, now it's trying to communicate Wi-Fi. There we go, closed it. It basically, each user gets their own login. It allows you to go in. As you can see, I'm logged in as a customer right now. And it uses the exact, oops, wrong nav. It uses the exact same features and functions that I used before. So if I go to the Anveo Client Suite, I go to my Anveo users. This time I'm logged in as KW, customer KW, and you can see I'm using the AWP customer list. So if I go to my menu structure here for Anveo Client Suite, and I go to the main menus, and I go to AWP customer, and I say edit, it'll say your account, orders, new orders, order history. So if you look at that and you compare it to the web browser, your account, orders, new orders, order history. Same exact thing. I don't have to, ooh, I am in love with 2009 on this presentation. I don't have to change anything here, right? I don't have to program. I just simply offer the information up. And basically, if I click on your account, the system's going to open my account information. If I want to see the number of orders I have, I can say, show me the number of orders. I have 2 orders. Both of these are open orders. I can click on an order and say, show me that order. And the solution is going to open the order. And again, we are publishing pages. We are publishing our tables as pages on the solution. So if you look at this, I'm just simply going through and putting tables on here. So come in, I say open home page. If I come into advanced, my account, right? %2, doing the substitution, showing my name, right? And if I come in here and do an edit, again, customer table. I'm showing my customer table. And one of the things I did on the menu was if I go to menus for this, you saw me go show me my orders, right? So, and I'm going into my sales quote list or my sales order list. I drill into my sales order list. I look at what I'm showing, and here, did something wrong, excuse me. My sales order list, advanced, and if I edit it, I'm showing table 36, my sales header. So again, you see it's not, there's really no development work. You're not writing code. You're really focusing on these are the fields I want to publish, and this is how I want them to appear. And you can see this is a web portal list is what it's showing me, a list of information. And if I look at the menu here, which is where we were before, I click on menu, and I say show, it opens my sales order card. Advanced again. I edit that card. I'm looking at table 36, and you'll see this time I've included table 37. So what I've done is I've created a 2-piece card where I'm showing my header and my lines on the same page. So it basically links the two, one above the other. So if I come in here, there's my header, there's my page. So if I have an order that has items in it, I see that information in there. Let me see if we've got one here. Nope. I was seeing if I had lines in one, but the lines basically appear down here. I can actually take this order and let's just add a line. So if I come in here, say, okay, that's what I want to add. I added 2 items to there. I go through, I update my quantities here, right? My lines figure out the amounts, right, based on the unit price, and I'm basically creating an order. From here, I could release the order, I could delete an order, I could basically get an order confirmation, reopen a released order, just like NAV. And basically, the ability to limit these things is simple. You go in, you say, hey, I don't want this button. The salesperson is not allowed to release an order. They can create it. I'll use my internal business processes to release it if I want. The key difference between the web portal and the mobile app is the web portal is always connected. So as I enter this information, that information is in NAV. So in here, as soon as basically I validate the field by moving out of it, the information appears in NAV. So if I come into my orders here, home, if I can get to it, thank you. Departments, come on. Oh, I know what's going on, sorry. System wants me to get out of all of these extra windows. Because I have so many things open. I go home and I go to sales orders, open, and I am working on sales order 1070. So I come down to 1070, which is here, and I open the order. I have my lines. So in here, when I change a quantity to 3, right, and I click out of the window, and I come back into the solution, and I refresh it, and actually refreshed on its own, it's 3. So it fires all the same code that you have in there. So if you have an on validate for quantity, that will go and look at, you know, do I actually have that quantity on hand? Is it going to be back ordered? It's going to pop a note. Whatever you put in for code in NAV, that same code will fire through Anveo. So again, if you customized your solution, you're already going to take advantage of it because I'm already using the code that pre-exists in NAV. So when I validate the field, my on validate triggers fire in NAV. So all that information's in here. You'll see again, didn't change the way I navigate, didn't have to learn something new because I went into the web portal as opposed to the mobile app. We support all browsers. You simply basically install, it's an IIS solution, so you keep the front end separate from NAV, and you're simply publishing pages. It's that easy a concept. Any questions on the web portal? That's all I have. If there's no further questions, I will again put our contact information back up, and if there are no further questions, that's all I have.
Thanks, Keith. Perry, can you expound a little bit about what version of NAV is required to have Anveo run properly?
Certainly. Anveo will run on 2009 R2 or greater executable. And what that means is we actually have clients on 4.0 databases and up. You need to be on a SQL database, and you can upgrade the application. That's not a big, you don't have to migrate the data. You basically just open your current database with a 2009 R2 executable. It'll automatically convert everything to talk in the new format, and you're up and running.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that. Abby, I don't know if you want to go ahead and if you have anything else to add. Again, our contact information is on the screen. I want to be the first point of contact. You've got my phone number and email address if there are any questions. We are more than happy to do demos for the customers, your group that will be working with a solution like this, and we're more than happy to do that. We do appreciate the opportunity, certainly, to present this solution. We're getting rave reviews of those folks that have implemented this into their systems. So, Abby, I don't know if you wanted to follow up with anything?
Yes, guys, I just had one quick question here that came in at the end. Is an experienced developer needed in order to set up and maintain the Anveo solution?
The answer is no. We do get developers involved just because they have skill sets in designing customer interfaces and that sort of thing. So on the onset, a lot of times someone will just have a developer in just to help lay out and make sure the end user thinks about navigation and functionality. But really not necessary. We've had actual end users roll this out and do quite nicely with it. Some of our biggest implementations in the country right now are 300 plus people, and they are basically self-implemented. The other part of that is once you're finished with the development, meaning you've developed your app from an end user perspective, and you have it in and running. Really, there is no maintenance. There's nothing you have to update, or the server updates, or anything like that. It's pretty much it just handles itself. It just runs and it works, and it's just a workhorse you can rely on. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And we want to thank you guys. This was a great presentation today. I know it's been very informative for a lot of our users. And I just want to remind everybody who attended that we will have the recording on our website, annovia.com, by the end of the day. Well,
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you all at our
Thanks,
next
Abby.
webinar.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Keith.
Bye.